My wife had a secret iPad containing all her stuff. Part 2. Hi everyone, welcome back to another Reddit cheating story. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you won't miss another cheating story goes live. He told me that confronting her and him is pointless because she has already made up her mind. He said that I need a fresh start and to find someone who is themselves and not a mirage of a woman I married. Like myself, Daniel hates vile racists and shook his head that my wife did this. Daniel has known my wife a lot longer than me. After speaking to Daniel, it made me feel like I was in control. For months I felt that she was in control. I was afraid to find out the truth. I didn't confront her more sternly when I was suspicious because I was afraid of the outcome. At the time I didn't know if I wanted to leave her or make it work. But after the videos, pictures and texts, I damn well know what I must do. I went to the lawyer to file for a divorce. I had enough. My wife was still acting normal. Still on the phone constantly. Still going out late, I assume with him. I didn't care. I had to wait 3 weeks for the papers to come through. I got them. I decided to move out. Luckily we rented and our lease was running out in 3 months. I was prepared to pay until then. Anyway, I wanted to move out. So the day came. She went to work. I made up that I had to go in later to cover for being short-staffed. She shrugged and said okay. No goodbye hug or kiss. Still, that hasn't happened for months, so I was used to it. She left. I packed up my essentials and put the divorce papers on the kitchen table along with my wedding ring. That was it. I stayed with my friend from university, Adam, who lived in another city. I was grateful, but more grateful that it was far from her, the city, our same social circle. I wanted nothing to do with any of it. I told my parents about what happened and they were shocked but fully understood. I obviously didn't tell them every little detail. There was no need. All I can think of at the moment is that I'm free. My wife would, I assume, agree, as it was clear that Marjus is the one she wants. I hope that we get a quick divorce. I really do. Later that night my phone was blowing up with calls and texts. It was my wife. I was surprised because I honestly thought that this was what she wanted as well. But it seems that I couldn't be more wrong. I didn't speak to my wife. I had no interest in it. I read her messages and all of them consisted of "I'm sorry, I love you, please can we talk?" etc. etc. This lasted for hours. I blocked her number and deleted all my social media accounts. I spoke to my lawyer about my wife signing the divorce, but she hasn't signed. She did contact me through email. I wanted to have some way of communication because I still want the divorce. She sent me an email again saying sorry a number of times and that we needed to talk. I replied no, all I want is the divorce. She replied that she doesn't want one. I am the man she only loves and Marjus meant nothing. It's funny because I never mentioned to her why I left, but she obviously knows why. Her guilty conscience and seeing her plead for forgiveness was actually satisfying. I spoke to Adam and he said I could stay as long as I wanted. I am thankful for him. But he did say that I would have to meet her eventually. He said that I left without having answers and no matter how hard you try, eventually you will need to hear them. Inside I was disagreeing with Adam. Why should I talk to her? Why? She gave little regard to my feelings for months. She didn't care about me. She cares about her sick friend Daniel. She didn't care. So why would I talk to her? I know that deep down I'm being stubborn. But also angry that my wife is trying to reconcile. I honestly thought she would have signed and moved on with him. This has me mixed up. And even more mixed up now is that my wife wants to meet. I have a therapist who is excellent. I talked about the affair. The pictures. The videos. All of it. I mentioned that my wife wants to meet up before she signs. My therapist was blunt. She said that when I left without telling her why, deep down you wanted her to plead and her to worry. You keep telling yourself she wouldn't care, but deep down, you want her to care. You want her to feel pain, like she did to you. However, meeting her would take some of your control. She was right. She added, if you decide to meet in person you must ask the difficult questions even if you don't like the answer. Because you do have questions and you are not moving on at all. You are running away because you are scared that the last 7 years were a lie. Like I said, blunt. That was 2 days ago. My wife really wants to meet and is inclined that she won't sign without meeting first. I speak to my parents and close friends about it. My dad said that you could force the issue of her signing, but that could take months. But if she's willing, no guarantee, to sign after you talk, then it's worth it. Adam agreed. I decided to meet my wife. Although to say I'm nervous is an understatement. How should I approach this? What should I ask her? Should I be open or guarded? Any help and advice would be appreciated. Update: I would like to point out some things regarding my previous post. The story has been set from just over a year ago. The last post is a catch-up to present time. Sorry, I should have clarified. So now this update leads up to the present day. A lot has happened since I posted. First, I moved back to where I lived. Living with Adam was great, but I needed to go back eventually. My soon-to-be ex is still in our house, so I rented a flat just outside of town. I told my wife that I'm coming back and she was happy. However, I told her under no certain terms that I would be living with her. So understood. Although she tried the generic "we can sleep in separate rooms" line. No, I do not want that. I also stated that I will not tell her where I live, obviously, even though she tried to find out. She still wants to meet me, as do I. We arranged a time and place. The place was a neutral venue, so to speak. It was near the beach where there are people but not too many in case a scene is happening, which I obviously don't want. I want to meet outside with just me and her. I know some of you in the comments said take a friend, but I felt that it wasn't needed. But still, I appreciate the advice. I do, however, agree that I will definitely be recording the conversation, which I did. Before the meet, I emailed my soon-to-be ex and laid down some ground rules. And if she didn't abide by them, there would be no chance of reconciliation. The rules were simple. Answer every question that I have honestly. No deflection answers like "it just happened" or "I'm not sure," etc. I want detailed answers. If she storms off without answering every question, it's over. No reconciliation. Answer even if you think the answer will hurt me. Don't be late. If you are, no reconciliation. So we made the place and time. Now it's about waiting for me to leave to go home to my flat. The next day I caught up with other friends. They treat me like I'm Daniel, although I get it. I got hugs and support, which I appreciated. But it seems, inevitably, that our breakup has spread. Although I question how they know. I only told a handful of people. But my wife inevitably told her family and friends, and of course the domino effect would happen. However, they obviously didn't know the full details. They didn't know about the texts, pictures and videos. Not even my wife knows that I have them. She is under the impression I left because she was spending too much time with Marju's. She doesn't know about what I have. All she thinks is time with Marju's husband got upset, she broke it off. I told my therapist about the meeting. She said that I should ask certain questions to give her better insight into what happened. He'll explain that later. It's the day of the meet. I was nervous before, but my goodness, I am in bits. Not because I want her back, but seeing her and then seeing her means seeing him in my mind. And then I would lose focus and control. I drove up to the beach early. Really early. I'd taken the surroundings, and in reflection it was a perfect day. Sun was out. People were taking their morning stroll. I picked a nice venue. Then out of nowhere I turned to see my soon-to-be ex walking towards me. She was smiling. She looked great. Definitely glammed up. Although she looked slightly worn out and stressed, no sympathy. She approached and tried to hug me. I put my arm out as to say no. She looked at me as in "I understand" kind of way. We sat down and settled. She tried to start small talk, but I wasn't interested. I had my phone on record and started. Me: when did you first kiss him? Her: the first week, on the Friday. Me: when did you first sleep with him? Her: the same day on Friday. Me: where? Her: at his place. Me: did you ever do it on my bed? Her: does it matter? I looked at her and said about the email. Answer everything I stated. Her: yes. She starts to tear up. Me: when? She basically said it was a number of times I was out. Our neighbors saw him but rightly thought he was a work colleague. They thought nothing of it. She apologized already and kept apologizing, but I put my hand out for her to stop. I asked my other questions. Me: did you tell him about me? About you being married? There are more to come. Find out the update of this story, check our channel or the description. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell for any future cheating stories.